How's it going, everybody? Coming to you today to do my 500-mile review on the Royal Enfield Classic 350 signals. The signals, as you can see there, with its badging and such, is a throwback to the military, back when Royal Enfield used to have ties with the military. You look here on the bags, this is actually my unit emblem. The unit I served with overseas, I threw it on there kind of as a homage to the guys that I served with. But this is the Classic 350 from Royal Enfield. And the signals, Desert Sand. So, this is what she looks like. Let's go for a ride. The Classic 350 is your standard 350cc single cylinder thumper, just your normal 4-stroke little 350. It has a 5-speed gearbox that the best way I know how to describe it is it snicks. I mean, it's just smooth. It snicks into place. So you're like, snick, you're in gear. Snick, you're in gear. That's just the best way I know how to describe it, is it snicks into gear. It's very smooth. So you got a 350cc motor. You got a 5-speed gearbox. You got a top speed of 73 miles an hour. And what else can I say about it? Even with that, it's still a blast to ride. The bike is absolutely gorgeous to look at. You would not believe the amount of comments, the amount of looks, the amount of people who point and like nudge their significant other to look. I mean, it gets a lot of attention. Now, the bike is not powerful. That 350cc motor, it doesn't put out but 20 horsepower, and that's pretty mild. The torque is pretty low too. I don't remember off the top of my head how much torque it has, but it's not a lot. The bike really finds its sweet spot between 55 and 60 miles an hour. That's where it really likes to ride. Now, like I said, it can get up to 73 if you're going downhill and tucked in and you're really working really hard for it. But it doesn't really like to be at 70, 73 miles an hour. This is much more of a backcountry road, kind of like this, small highway, 55 to 65 mile an hour bike. The color schemes, they have tons of different color schemes out there. They've got the Signal, which is what this one is, and the Desert Sand. They have a Signal and what they call Marsh Gray, which is going to be almost a olive drab. Not quite, but it's close to an OD green. That one looks really good too. They have a black and red, I mean, just all sorts of colors. Go to Royal Enfield's website and you'll see they've got a ton of different colorways for this bike. Price. The price on this thing is pretty amazing. About $5,300 brand new from the factory, or from the dealer, I mean, with a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty. Yeah, unlimited mileage, 3-year warranty, beats the snot out of everybody else. Most other manufacturers offer a 1-year, so you're literally, you know, tripling the amount that they offer. The Enfield has been around for forever. I believe they are the oldest manufacturer still in existence. They've been around for a long time. Now, performance on this bike, it's a mixed bag. And what I mean by that is, if you go into this knowing what this bike is good for, you'll love it. If you go into this thinking it's going to be something it's not, you're not going to be happy with the bike. You're just not. The motor, like I said, is a 350, puts out 20 horsepower. That's not much. And your top speed going to be about 73 miles an hour. And it won't hold 73 miles an hour. That's just what the top speed is. Where this bike really likes to live is in the 55 to 60 mile an hour range. That's where my particular one just, I mean, it seems to act like a daggum sewing machine at those speeds. It's comfortable, it is happy, and I've got a little bit of extra power if I need to squirt around something, but there's not a whole lot of top end. This bike is not made for performance. This is a cruiser bike. This is I live in a city, I only want to ride small back roads. This is not an interstate bike. If you want to get into this as an interstate bike, you will be very disappointed. If you want to get into this into a highway bike where your highway, you know, the minimum speed limit on your highway is 60, 65, you're probably going to be unhappy. This is great where I live, where most of the small roads are 55 and under. This thing, I mean, that's where its sweet spot is. I believe it's a great city carver, a great backroads explorer, a great small country road, county road sort of bike. You know, something to take to the farmer's market, especially if you have the little pannier bags like I do, or saddle bags. It would be something great for that. It's a great leisure cruiser. It is not a street demon. It is not a interstate eater. It's not. And if you go into it hoping to make it do that, you're going to be disappointed and you're not going to like the bike. If you go into it knowing that this is meant for the slower kind of fun rides, you're gonna love the bike because it does those things beautifully. Absolutely beautifully. It will take you down the road at 60 miles an hour all day long, and it'll get you anywhere from 60 to 80 miles per gallon depending on how you drive and what kind of terrain you're on. Like where I live, I have a lot of hills, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, and I get about 63 to 68 miles to the gallon. I've seen other people online say that they can get up to 80. I have not came anywhere near those numbers, and I don't know if it's just my driving style, if that's, you know, someone in the city versus me out here more rural. I don't know if that's the case, but on roads like this, highways like this, where your speed limit is 60 or 55 miles an hour, it is a blast. It is an absolute dream of a bike to ride. It's comfortable and it handles these speeds beautifully. These are the speeds it was meant to be on. If you try to take this on the interstate or high speed, you'll hate it. But you can see I'm in 5th. I'm right at 60 miles an hour. And I mean, it's just smooth. It's like a freaking sewing machine at this speed. It loves it. Mine loves right here. So if you want something that lives in this space, this bike is it. It looks phenomenal. You're gonna get tons of attention because of the looks. It rides really well. It drives really well at this speed, and the comfort's there as well. So like, even on longer trips, the nearest Royal Enfield dealership for me is Synergy Motorworks. They are in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and that's 150 miles one way. When I bought this bike, I rode 150 miles home on it. Now, I rode it at 60 miles an hour, and it took me a few hours to get home, but the bike did it perfectly, did it phenomenally. And that's where this bike really excels, is at those speeds and doing those jobs. Now, I rode this 150 miles home. I then rode around my area for another 150 miles. And at 300 miles, I rode 150 miles back to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I then had them do the first service on it. On the service, you'll see a lot of different prices online. I've seen everything from $800 to $200 for the first service. Your first service, it does require the valves to be checked, and that eats up a lot of time. So, you know, it generally costs more for that. I went ahead and had them do the first service, and then I rode 150 miles back. I put 300 miles in one day on this bike, and I did it comfortably, no problems. The bike, if you know what it is when you get into it, it will make you very happy. I had purchased mine from Synergy. I had Synergy do the first service on it, and the out-the-door cost was $230. I was really happy with that price, considering that they had to adjust the valves, they had to change the oil and filter, and they washed the bike for me. And they did it all in one day. I didn't have to wait. I didn't have to drop the bike off. It was, I rode it there, they serviced it, and I rode it home. I was very happy with that. So that's your kind of, you know, 300, 500 mile initial break-in for your first service, and then roughly 4,000 miles after that is when each service is due. The warranty on these, as long as you follow their service guidelines and as long as you actually service them like you're supposed to, 3 years. And that's amazing, a 3-year warranty compared to everybody else. Everyone else is a 1-year warranty. Acceleration is slow. It's part of that 20 horsepower. It'll get you out of a little bit of traffic, but it's not gonna get you out of a, you know, you gotta be careful. You gotta watch what you're doing. So we've talked about performance. We've talked about the service. We've talked about miles per gallon. We've touched just about everything that there is to touch. Overall, as long as you know that this is going to be a slower, soft accelerating motorcycle, as long as you go into it knowing that, knowing that it loves this 60 miles an hour. If you go into it with that, I think you'll be very happy. If you go into it expecting a whirlwind of power and, you know, just crazy acceleration and all of that good stuff, I think you're going to be disappointed. But if you go into it expecting to just explore roads like this, if you go into it expecting to just be, you know, a city dweller or someone who wants to hop on that country blacktop and go to a farmer's market in a nearby town, this thing is just awesome. It's comfortable, it's cool, I really like it. Price is only $5,300, give or take a couple of hundred depending upon your dealer. $5,300, brand spanking new. That's pretty amazing. 3-year warranty, and the amount of smiles that you get, I recommend it, guys. I think it's a blast to ride. I think it's a beautiful bike. I don't think you can go wrong with it. If you go into it knowing what it is, and I cannot say that enough, you have to go into it expecting a lower performance when it comes to acceleration and top speed. If you're okay with that, this bike is awesome. If you're wanting to stick in that 60 mile an hour range where I'm at right now, this bike is awesome. If you're wanting something fun to ride that feels like it's on rails, that corners well, that, I mean, it balances so well. If you're wanting something like that, this is it. I highly, highly, highly recommend the Royal Enfield Classic 350, especially in the Signals Edition, as long as you know the limitations as you're walking in. If you understand those limitations, you will be happy with your purchase. I guarantee you. As long as you know that there's limitations and you don't go into it expecting more, you're gonna love this bike. Absolutely gonna love it. It's a blast. If you're anywhere near Tulsa, Oklahoma, go check out Synergy. They're good folks. They don't pay me. I don't get any money from them. I don't get any discounts. I had good service from them, thought they were good folks and wanted to give them a shout out. Royal Enfield, I make absolutely no money from them, no sponsorship, but hey, Royal Enfield, if you watch this, I would love to try your Continental GT 650. That is a beautiful bike too. Thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate all of the support. Give Royal Enfield a try. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.